I never thought I'd have to call the police over a fence. But when my HOA president screamed at me in front of my entire neighborhood, accused me of damaging community property, and threatened me with a $5,000 fine, I realized this wasn't just about paint or rules. It was about power and someone drunk on it. My name's Sarah Miller. I'm 29 and I had just bought my first house in Maple Grove, one of those suburban communities where every lawn is trimmed to military precision and the mailboxes all match like cloned soldiers. At first I loved it. Quiet mornings, friendly waves, the smell of freshly cut grass. Until I met her. Deborah Green, the HOA president. The kind of woman who treats her title like a crown and the neighborhood like her personal kingdom. It all started over something stupid. My backyard fence. The previous owner had left it faded and patchy, so one Saturday I decided to repaint it same white, maybe just a brighter shade. I was halfway through when I heard the screech of tires and the slam of a car door. Deborah stood at the curb, arms crossed, sunglasses glinting like she was about to issue a parking ticket to God himself. "Sarah," she said, dragging out my name like it offended her tongue. "That color violates regulation. 14 Section B. You have 24 hours to restore it to the approved shade, or you'll receive a $5,000 penalty." I blinked. "It's white. It's literally white." She whipped out a clipboard like a weapon. "Not eggshell white. Maple Grove requires pearl mist. There's a difference." I laughed. Big mistake. Her lips thinned and she started taking pictures, muttering about non-compliant aesthetics and community standards. I stood there, paintbrush dripping in my hand, realizing this woman actually thought she was saving the neighborhood by policing fence colors. The next morning I got an official violation notice in the mail. It was typed, stamped, and signed by Deborah herself. I thought maybe it was some misunderstanding, but then I saw a Facebook post on the Maple Grove residents group, a photo of my fence with the caption, "Some homeowners clearly don't respect our standards." My stomach dropped. The comments were brutal. People I hadn't even met were piling on. "That color looks cheap. New homeowners should read the rules." I wanted to reply to defend myself, but I didn't. I just sat there staring at the screen, feeling my cheeks burn. Then Linda, my next-door neighbor, knocked on my door that evening. "Don't take it personally," she whispered. "Deborah does this to everyone new. She fined the Thompsons for having a garden gnome. They moved out last year." I tried to laugh it off. I told myself it was just a bad neighbor situation. But within days I got another letter, this time about my trash bins being visible from the street. Then one about my mailbox flag being slightly tilted. It was harassment disguised as rules. A week later, I was summoned to an HOA meeting. I showed up in jeans and a hoodie. Everyone else looked like they were attending a corporate board presentation. Deborah sat at the head of the long table, flanked by her counsel, 3 people who looked terrified to breathe without her permission. She started in immediately. "Sarah, we're here to address your repeated non-compliance with Maple Grove guidelines. Your behavior is threatening property values." I could feel everyone's eyes on me. "It's a fence," I said quietly. "A non-approved fence," she snapped. "If you can't follow the rules, perhaps this isn't the right community for you." Something in me twisted embarrassment, anger, disbelief. I'd worked 2 jobs to buy this house, and now this woman was talking like she could evict me with a pen stroke. I wanted to shout, but I didn't. I just nodded and left. For days after, I felt defeated. The letters kept coming and the whispers spread. One morning I walked outside to find my porch light shattered. Another day my mailbox was bent backward. I didn't see who did it, but I didn't need to guess. I started wondering if I should just sell the place, take the loss, escape this nightmare. Then one night there was a knock at my door. It was Mark, a quiet neighbor I'd only waved to in passing. He used to work as a lawyer before retiring early. He handed me a flash drive and said, "You need to hear this." On the recording, Deborah's voice was unmistakable. "I want Sarah gone," she was saying. "People like her make this place look cheap. I'll fine her until she gives up." My hands were shaking. That wasn't just pettiness, it was targeted harassment. "Where did you get this?" I whispered. Mark smiled. "I used to be on the board. I recorded every meeting. You're not the first person she's done this to, just the first willing to fight." That night something inside me shifted. Fear turned into fury. I gathered every letter, every message, every screenshot. I contacted the county's housing authority and filed a formal complaint for HOA abuse of power. Mark helped me draft it perfectly, citing state statutes. I even reached out to local homeowners on Facebook asking if they'd ever been fined unfairly. Within a day, my inbox exploded. Story after story, people fined for lawn heights, curtain colors, even for having kids chalk drawings on the driveway. Deborah had ruled this place like a dictator for years, and everyone had just let her. When the next HOA meeting rolled around, I walked in with a binder thick enough to break her manicure. The room went quiet. Deborah smiled that fake, sugary smile. Sarah back again. "I hope you're ready to settle this civilly." I placed the flash drive on the table. "I am." Her smile faltered. "What's that?" "Evidence," I said, "of you threatening and discriminating against homeowners. You said, quote, 'People like her make this place look cheap.' Care to explain what you meant by 'people like me'?" The room froze. One of the board members turned pale. "Is that real?" he asked. Mark, sitting in the back, nodded. "Verified. Dated last month." Deborah's face went crimson. "You can't record private meetings without consent. Actually," Mark said calmly, "in this state, only one-party consent is required. And that party was me." The room erupted into murmurs. Deborah slammed her palm on the table. "This is ridiculous. I was maintaining standards. By lying, I cut in. My voice trembled, but I didn't stop. By harassing homeowners until they sell their homes. By making people cry over fence colors." Her eyes narrowed. "You think you can come in here, little girl, and—" But the vice president, a middle-aged man who'd stayed silent all meeting, finally spoke up. "Deborah, enough. We've all seen your behavior. The fines, the humiliation, the favoritism. It ends tonight." She turned on him furious. "You can't do this. I am the HOA." "Not anymore," he said. "As of now, you're removed from your position pending investigation." For a moment I thought she'd explode. Her mouth opened and closed, her eyes wild, like she couldn't comprehend someone defying her. Then she grabbed her emerald green purse, stood up and shouted, "You'll regret this. I'll sue every one of you." She spun to leave, but her heel caught on the carpet and she stumbled just slightly before storming out. The door slammed so hard a picture fell off the wall. No one said a word for a few seconds. Then quietly someone started clapping. Then another, and another. I didn't join in. I just exhaled for what felt like the first time in months. Later that week, Deborah's removal became official. The HOA announced new transparency rules, no fines without board approval, and an independent homeowner advocate to handle complaints. Mark and I helped draft the proposal. Linda brought cookies to celebrate, but I didn't feel triumphant. Just still. Calm. I repainted the fence again, this time the exact shade of pearl mist except for one small plank left intentionally the wrong color. My tiny rebellion, my reminder. As I cleaned the last streak of paint off my hands, I looked at my quiet street, the trimmed lawns, the identical mailboxes, and I finally felt like I belonged here, not because Deborah said I could, but because I'd earned it. Sometimes you have to stand up to the self-appointed queens of the world to remind them that no one rules over everyone else. And that's the thing about people like Deborah. They think they're keeping order when really they're just afraid of losing control.